Falls Church, officially the City of Falls Church, is an independent city in the U.S. state of Virginia. As of the 2010 U.S. Census, the population was 12,332. Falls Church is included in the Washington-Arlington-Alexandria, D.C. VMDWV Metropolitan Statistical Area. Taking its name from the Falls Church, an 18th-century Anglican parish, Falls Church gained township status within Fairfax County in 1875. In 1948, it was incorporated as the City of Falls Church, an independent city with county-level governance status. It is also referred to as Falls Church City. The city's corporate boundaries do not include all of the area historically known as Falls Church. These areas include portions of Seven Corners and other portions of the current Falls Church postal districts of Fairfax County, as well as the area of Arlington County known as East Falls Church, which was part of the town of Falls Church from 1875 to 1936. For statistical purposes, the U.S. Department of Commerce's Bureau of Economic Analysis combines the city of Falls Church with Fairfax City and Fairfax County. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, Falls Church has the lowest level of poverty of any independent city or county in the United States. History. When the city of Falls Church was incorporated in 1948, its boundaries included only the central portion of the area historically known as Falls Church. Those other areas, often still known as Falls Church, are considered here for historical reasons. 16th and 17th centuries. In the late 16th and early 17th centuries, the area of present-day Falls Church was part of the Algonquian-speaking world, outside the fringes of the powerful Powhatan Paramount chiefdom to the south. It was part of the Anacostan chiefdom, centered on the lower Anacostia River near present-day Washington, D.C. The Anacostans were organized under the Piscataway Paramount chiefdom, which by the 1630s claimed to have had 13 successive rulers. Townent Dogs, who had shifted politically from Powhatan's alliance to Iroquois alliances, migrated physically into the Piscataway territories in the 1660s. The earliest known settlement within the current city limits of Falls Church was on the south side of present-day N Washington Street at its intersection with Columbia Street. Just east of Falls Church, on Wilson Boulevard, is Powhatan Springs, where Powhatan is said to have convened autumn councils. Today's Broad Street and Great Falls Street follow long-established trade and communication routes. In the late 17th century, especially after Bacon's Rebellion in 1676, English settlers from the Tidewater region of Virginia began to migrate to the area. According to local tradition, one of the chimneys of the Big Chimneys House and Tavern was inscribed 1699. Based on this claim, 1699 is often taken to be the first European settlement in the immediate vicinity. 18th century. The Falls Church, from which the city takes its name, was first called William Ginnell's Church, built of wood in 1733 to serve Toro Parish, which had been formed 2 years earlier from a larger parish centered in Quantico. By 1757, the building was referred to as the Falls Church, as it was located along the main tobacco rolling road from the Little Falls of the Potomac River. George Mason became a vestryman in 1748, as did George Washington in 1763. A brick church designed by James Wren replaced a wooden one in 1769, at which point it became the seat of the newly formed Fairfax Parish. Following the Revolution, in 1784, the Commonwealth of Virginia enacted disestablishment of the Anglican Church, meaning it was no longer the state church. Shortly thereafter, in 1789, the Falls Church was abandoned and was not reoccupied again until 1836, by an Episcopal congregation. The Wren Building remains on the site, between S. Washington, E. Broad, and E. Fairfax Streets. 19th century. Falls Church, like many colonial Virginia settlements, began as a neighborhood of large land-grant plantations anchored by an Anglican church. By 1800, the large land holdings had been subdivided into smaller farms, many of them relying on enslaved labor. With the soil exhausted by tobacco, new crops including wheat, corn, potatoes, and fruit were grown for area markets. At the same time, the movement of the U.S. capital from Philadelphia to Washington, D.C., in 1800 brought a gradual influx of workers to nearby Falls Church. Taverns also opened to serve travelers going to and from the Federal District. By the start of the American Civil War, Falls Church had seen an influx of Northerners seeking land and better weather. Thus the township's vote for Virginian secession was about 75% for, 25% against. The town changed hands several times during the early years of the war. Confederate General James Longstreet was headquartered at Home Hill following the First Battle of Manassas. The earliest known instance of U.S. wartime aerial reconnaissance was carried out from Taylor's Tavern at Seven Corners by Aeronaut Thaddeus S.C. Lowe of the Union Army Balloon Corps. When Confederates took Falls Church, the town became one of the earliest targets of aerially directed bombardment, with Lowe operating air reconnaissance from Arlington Heights and directing Union guns near the Chain Bridge by telegraph. These events have now been documented extensively, particularly the military encampments on Miners Hill and Upton's Hill. Julia Ward Howe was inspired to write the Battle Hymn of the Republic after observing a review of Federal troops at Upton's Hill in Falls Church with her husband and friends on May 28, 1861. She had witnessed the troops singing John Brown's Body, and spent the next morning beginning to develop the lyrics she would eventually set to that same tune and publish in the Atlantic in 1862. Following Reconstruction, Falls Church remained a rural farm community. It gained township status in 1875. Its first mayor after this status was Dr. John Joseph Moran, known as the attending physician when Edgar Allan Poe died. In 1887, the town of Falls Church retroceded to Fairfax County, the section south of what is now Lee Highway, then known as the Colored Settlement. 20th century by 1900. Falls Church was the largest town in Fairfax County, with 1,007 residents. Many of the residents at the time had come from the northern states or elsewhere. A 1904 map of the town shows 125 homes and 38 properties from 2 to 132 acres. The town had become a center of commerce and culture, with 55 stores and offices and 7 churches. In 1915 the town had a population of 1,386. In 1912 the Commonwealth allowed municipalities to enact residential segregation, and Falls Church's town council soon passed an ordinance designating a colored residential district, in which whites were not allowed to live and outside of which blacks were not allowed to live. Black property owners already living outside the district did not have to move, but could only sell to whites. The Colored Citizens Protective League formed in opposition to this ordinance and worked to prevent it from being enforced. The League incorporated as the first rural chapter of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People in 1915. In November 1917 the segregation law was formally nullified by the United States Supreme Court, though the Falls Church City Council did not formally repeal it until February 1999. In 1948, Falls Church became an independent city, according to the city's website, to establish a highly acclaimed school system. The existing system was racially segregated, as was common at the time. Following the U.S. Supreme Court's 1954 decision in Brown v. Board of Education, one city school board member pushed to allow black students to attend Falls Church city schools, but others delayed, and the state government's massive resistance laws prevented desegregation of any schools. In the 1959 school board elections, candidates supported by the Citizens for a Better Council, which lobbied for increased school funding overall, won the majority of the school board. These more progressive school board members then allowed pupil placement of selected black students into Falls Church schools as allowed by Virginia's 1959 Freedom of Choice law. 3 students applied for full 1961, 2 for Mason High School and 1 for Madison Elementary. All were approved and attended city schools that fall. In 1963, one of these Mason students helped gain full desegregation for the State Theater, on Washington Street, which had previously excluded black patrons. 21st century In 2014, the Falls Church boundary expanded to include an additional 38.4 acres of what was Fairfax County, from the sale of the Falls Church water utility to Fairfax Water. Northern Virginia is home to a sizable Vietnamese-American community that began to develop with immigration from South Vietnam after the fall of Saigon and the end of the Vietnam War in 1975. One visible sign of this community is Eden Center, a Vietnamese-American shopping plaza constructed in 1984 in the southeast corner of Falls Church City, at 7 Corners, and marked by a traditional gateway, guardian lions, and a clock tower modeled on one in Saigon. It houses restaurants, bakeries, and shops. Historic sites: Cherry Hill Farmhouse and Barn, an 1845 Greek Revival farmhouse and 1856 barn, owned and managed by the City of Falls Church, are open to the public select Saturdays in summer. Tinner Hill Arch and Tinner Hill Heritage Foundation represent a locus of early African American history in the area, including the site of the first rural chapter of the NAACP. Two of the District of Columbia's original 1791 boundary stones are located in public parks on the boundary between the City of Falls Church and Arlington County. The West Cornerstone stands in Andrew Ellicott Park at the West Cornerstone, 2824 Meridian Street, Falls Church N. Arizona Street, Arlington, just south of West Street. Stone number SW9 stands in Benjamin Barnica Park on Van Buren's Street, south of 18th Street, near the East Falls Church Metro Station. Sites on the National Register of Historic Places. Geography: according to the United States Census Bureau, the city has a total area of 2.0 square miles, all of its land. Falls Church is the smallest independent city by area in Virginia. Since independent cities in Virginia are considered county equivalents, it is also the smallest county equivalent in the United States by area. The center of the city is the crossroads of Virginia State Route 7 and U.S. Route 29. Trips Run, a tributary of the Cameron Run watershed, drains two-thirds of the City of Falls Church, while the 4 Mile Run watershed drains the other third. 4 Mile Run flows at the base of Miners Hill, which overlooks Falls Church on its north, and Upton's Hill, which bounds the area to its east. Major highways VA 7, VA 237, VA 338, US 29 Steradian 649 Steradian 694. Demographics 2010 Census as of the census of 2010, there were 12,332 people residing in the city. White, 79.9%. Black, 4.3%. American Indian Alaskan Native, 0.3%. Asian, 9.4%. Some other race, 2.1%. Two or more races, 4.0%. Hispanic or Latino of any race, 9.0%. 2000 Census as of the census of 2000, there were 10,377 people, 4,471 households, and 2,620 families residing in the city. The population density was 5,225.8 people per square mile. There were 4,725 housing units at an average density of 2,379.5 square mile. The racial makeup of the city was 84.97% white, 3.28% black or African American, 0.24% Native American, 6.50% Asian, 0.07% Pacific Islander, 2.52% from other races, and 2.43% from two or more races. Hispanic or Latino of any race were 8.44% of the population. There were 4,471 households, out of which 30.1% had children under the age of 18 living with them. 47.1% were married couples living together, 8.6% had a female householder with no husband present, and 41.4% were non-families. 33.8% of all households were made up of individuals, and 10.1% had someone living alone who was 65 years of age or older. The average household size was 2.31 and the average family size was 3.01. In the city, the population was spread out with 23.4% under the age of 18, 5.1% from 18 to 24, 31.1% from 25 to 44, 28.1% from 45 to 64 and 12.2% who were 65 years of age or older. The median age was 40 years. For every 100 females there were 94.8 males. For every 100 females age 18 and over, there were 89.9 males. The median income for a household in the city was $74,924, and the median income for a family was $97,225. Males had a median income of $65,227 versus $46,014 for females. The per capita income for the city was $41,051. About 2.8% of families and 4.2% of the population were below the poverty line, including 4.3% of those under age 18 and 4.1% of those age 65 or over. Government: Falls Church is governed by a 7-member city council, each elected at large for 4-year, staggered terms. Council members are typically career professionals holding down full-time jobs. In addition to attending a minimum of 22 council meetings and 22 work sessions each year, they also attend meetings of local boards and commissions and regional organizations. Members also participate in the Virginia Municipal League and some serve on statewide committees. The mayor is elected by members of the council. The city operates in a typical council-manager form of municipal government, with a city manager hired by the council to serve as the city's chief administrative officer. The city's elected sheriff is S. Stephen Bittle. Candidates for city elections typically do not run under a nationally affiliated party nomination. City services and functions include education, recreation and parks, library, police, land use, zoning, and building inspections, street maintenance, and stormwater and sanitary sewer service. Often named Tree City USA, the city has one full-time arborist. Some public services are provided by agreement with the city's county neighbors of Arlington and Fairfax, including certain health and human services, and court services, transport, and fire rescue services. The city provided water utility service to a large portion of eastern Fairfax County, including the dense commercial areas of Tysons Corner and Merrifield, until January 2014, when the water utility was sold to the Fairfax County Water Authority. Economy: in 2011, Falls Church was named the richest county in the United States with median annual household income of $113,313. While Fortune 500 companies Computer Sciences Corporation, General Dynamics, and Northrop Grumman have headquarters addressed in Falls Church, they are physically in Fairfax County. ENSCO, Incorporated is in Fairfax County but has a Falls Church address. Top employers according to the city's 2013 Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, the top employers in the city are: Education: the city is served by Falls Church City Public Schools, Mount Daniel Elementary School, which includes preschool, kindergarten and first grade. Thomas Jefferson Elementary School, which includes grades 2-5. Mary Ellen Henderson Middle School, which includes grades 6-8. George Mason High School, which includes grades 9-12. Of these four Falls Church City Public Schools, 1, Mount Daniel Elementary School, is located outside city limits and neighboring Fairfax County. Falls Church High School is not part of the Falls Church City Public School System, but rather the Fairfax County Public School System. It does not serve the city of Falls Church. Falls Church City is eligible to send up to 3 students per year to the Fairfax County Magnet School, Thomas Jefferson High School for Science and Technology. The city is home to St. James Catholic School, a parochial school serving grades Car-8. Transportation: although 2 stations on the Washington Metro's Orange Line have Falls Church in their names, neither lies within the city of Falls Church. East Falls Church is in Arlington County and West Falls Church is in Fairfax County. Metro's Silver Line, completed July 2014, serves the East Falls Church station. It runs between Largo Town Center in the east, following the Blue Line route to Stadium Armory, the Orange and Blue Lines to Roslyn, and finally the Orange route alone until it reaches East Falls Church, where it branches off towards the northwest, currently terminating at the Eel Rest and East Station. Your next phase of the Silver Line will eventually reach eastern Loudoun County, including a station at Dulles International Airport. East Falls Church is the westernmost designated transfer station. The Washington Metropolitan Area Transit Authority provides bus service throughout the Washington metropolitan area, including Falls Church. A small portion of the 45-mile Washington and Old Dominion Railroad Trail runs through the city. The trail enters the city from the west between mile markers 7 and 7.5. The trail enters the city from the east between mile markers 5.5 and 6. The W&OD Trail travels on the railbed of the Washington and Old Dominion Railroad and various predecessor lines, which provided passenger service from 1860 to May 31, 1951, with exception of a few years during the U.S. Civil War. Freight service was abandoned when the railroad closed in August 1968. The 4-mile run trail, which ends at an intersection with the Mount Vernon Trail near Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport, begins in the city at Van Buren Street. These trails comprise a major bicycle commuting route to Washington, D.C. From 1948 to 1960, Falls Church was the home of Falls Church Airpark, a general aviation airport located along U.S. Route 50, west of Seven Corners. The facility's 2,650-foot unpaved runway was used extensively by private pilots and civil defense officials. Residential development, multiple accidents, and the demand for retail space led to its closure in 1960. News and media. The Falls Church News Press is a free weekly newspaper founded in 1991 that focuses on local news and commentary and includes nationally syndicated columns. The area is also served by national and regional newspapers, including the Washington Examiner, the Washington Times, and the Washington Post. The city is also served by numerous citizen and corporate-sponsored Internet blogs. WAMU Radio 88.5 produces several locally oriented news and opinion programs. Culture, annual events, Memorial Day Parade. Held since at least the 1950s, with bands, military units, civic associations, and fire rescue stations. In recent years the event has featured a street festival with food, crafts, a non-profit organization booths, and a 3K fun run. Falls Church Farmers Market is held Saturdays year-round, January 3 April 25, May 2 December 26, at the City Hall parking lot, 300 Park Avenue. In addition to regional attention, in 2010 the market was ranked first in the medium category of the American Farmland Trust's contest to identify America's favorite farmers markets. Cultural institutions. The Falls Church Village Preservation and Improvement Society was originally founded in 1885 by Arthur Douglas and re-established in 1965 to promote the history, culture, and beautification of the city. The Tinner Hill Heritage Foundation was founded in 1997 by Edwin B. Henderson, to preserve the civil rights and African American history and culture. Falls Church is where the first rural branch of the NAACP was established, stemming from events that took place in 1915, when the town attempted to pass a segregation ordinance by creating segregated districts in the town. The ordinance was not enforced after the U.S. Supreme Court ruling on Buchanan v. Wholey, in 1917. The Mary Riley Stiles Public Library, 120 North Virginia Avenue, is Falls Church's public library. Established in 1928, its current building was constructed for the purpose in 1958 and expanded in 1993. In addition to its circulating collections, it houses a local history collection, including newspaper files, local government documents, and photographs. The State Theater, 220 North Washington Street, stages a wide variety of live performances. Built as a movie house in 1936, it was reputed to be the first air-conditioned theater on the East Coast. It closed in 1983. After extensive renovations in the 1990s, including a stage, bar, and restaurant, it reopened as a music venue. Climate. The climate in this area is characterized by hot, humid summers and generally mild to cool winters. According to the CAR paragraph PPEN climate classification system, Falls Church has a humid subtropical climate, abbreviated CFA on climate maps. Notable people: Tommy Amaker, current head men's basketball coach at Harvard University; Alan Bridge, conceptual artist; Jane Brucker, actress and screenwriter; Jane Kramer, backstroke and butterfly swimmer; John Hartman, musician and founding member of the Doobie Brothers; Molly Henberg, news reporter; Mike Hindert, bass guitarist; Louisa Krause, actress; Nancy Kyes, film and television actress; Matthew F. McHugh, former U.S. Congressman; Kyle E. McSlarrow, former Deputy Secretary of the United States Department of Energy; Alexa Naff, historian; Joseph Harvey Riley, ornithologist; Eric Schmidt, Executive Chairman and former CEO of Google, former CEO of Novell, 138th richest person in the world in 2012, Fred Talbot, professional baseball player. See also: National Register of Historic Places listings in Falls Church, Virginia. References. External links: official website, geographic data related to Falls Church, Virginia at OpenStreetMap, City of Falls Church at the Wayback Machine, City of Falls Church at the Wayback Machine.